So I was watching a former WWE. Fuck it, roll it. We'll do it live. I was watching a former WWE wrestler named Maven meet up with a co-worker of his, another former wrestler named Just Incredible. Maven has a podcast that's about, wrestling and all that. And I guess this wrestler, Just Incredible, had allegations of he was scamming fans, saying he's going to send them merchandise and then he never would, or he was asking fans for money after a wrestling match at a place, saying he needed gas money, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So there was a lot of things. And Maven basically told him, I'm going to ask you some, full disclosure, I'm going to ask you some things that are hard. So basically, coming from the world of recovery, this guy wasn't willing to say, really what to me, what the truth was, because I was a scumbag like he was, except for I never had any merchandise. I was stealing, shit, and, just doing fucking shit that I knew that fundamentally was against everything in my character and moral compass, and I have no excuse. I could say, oh, well, I was addicted to drugs and blah, 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 but, or I would be sick if I didn't take these pills, and, I'm addicted and all this shit, and which is on the nuts and bolts of it is true, but you're never going to get well just saying, well, the guy just didn't want, I'm going to include the clip of the show, but the guy just basically, and this is why people never get sober. They never come to the end of themselves and say, okay, enough. All right, enough of the fucking nonsense. Yeah, I fucked up. I was smoking crack or whatever the fuck it was, or I was buying fentanyl or buying fucking Oxy 30s or fucking 80s or whatever, and I was going through my money and I had an injury or not injury or whatever, or I got it. Whatever the fucking story is, whatever the truth of the fucking story isn't what the guy said. He kind of gives you a little, he's just not ready to come clean with the shit, and I'm telling you, when you come clean with what the fuck you've done in the past, it sets you free. The Bible says that, the truth will set you free. I remember when I was filling out my outpatient shit to go into get on Suboxone, two things God told me: don't take the full amount they prescribe you and tell the truth. I just remember that, filling out the paperwork. So I just spilled it all, just let it be known. But it was just so hard because it's been so long, because nobody really knows me, like, at the gym. I I basically am in the drug protection program. I moved down here after leaving where I'm from, and getting sober. It's so hard to watch a guy, just because, it's like seeing BJ Penn and Conor McGregor and, John Jones, and these guys struggle with addiction and just bullshit their way around these stories and pretend, and, it's basically gonna, it can cost you, addiction is a terminal illness. I don't call it a disease. I'm not going to get into all that, but it's an illness that it's going to eventually cost you your life, whether that's your freedom or your real physical life on this earth. It's going to cost you. And just hearing a guy, being questioned, man, it just brought back so many things that I haven't, I'll be honest with you, for years after, I didn't wear my glasses probably for 12 fucking years because I didn't like who I seen in the mirror, I just didn't want to see myself. And once I started getting sober, I started wearing my glasses more and more. And it took me a long time to be able to, I repented. I asked God's forgiveness. I asked people that were in my life that I had wronged. I asked, their forgiveness, and I had to come clean with my my counselor. I had to come clean with people in my family. I had to, it was fucking beyond, but I'm going to include the link. But hearing all this shit this guy did, me being a person in recovery, it was just like, bro. It might as well have been him being caught on film. It was so hard to just see somebody that's still struggling with, he was like, oh, it's making me sound like I'm a scumbag. Well, bro, you're not a scumbag, but your fucking behavior is, you know what I mean? Like, but you've got to own that shit. And that's why, I'll tell you, I say it all the time, that's why so many people, they don't get sober. Or they don't stay sober. They just kind of think that they can because addicts lie. We all are fucking professional liars. I could lie to anybody and not think twice about it. I was gifted at it. I was such a fucking master manipulator that I had to unlearn all that behavior and basically be a master truth teller and go, no. I know that's what I know I told you that. That's not what happened. And I've had to blow the fucking doors off some people's real understanding of who I am. And people that don't know me, they kind of know me the last 6 years. They don't know the crackhead version of me or the pillhead junkie version of me. They know the guy that goes to the gym and feeds the cats and has the dog and fucking eats chicken 4 times a day and drinks a lot of water and takes kratom and shit. They don't know the fucking dude that was on a fucking run for 10 years taking hundreds of pills a week. You know what I mean? They don't know that person. But I'm going to include the link. For those of you that are still, in the throes of addiction, there is hope. It does get better and we do recover.